but we understand their concerns. And there was quite a bit of, dismay amongst our residents, and rightfully so, because many people lost much of their personal belongings, their cars, flooding in their basements, on and on and on. So, and of course, some of the areas are the usual suspect areas, low-lying areas that seem to flood quite often. With that, again, apologies from the council for that, but we had to take care of that. So with that, Madam Clerk.
Okay, this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board. Pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act and recent regulations issued by the state of New Jersey, the following procedures will be in effect for public comment during this remote public meeting of the City Council. The public shall have an opportunity for comment during the designated public portion of this meeting. The time period for public comment is limited to 3 minutes for each speaker, and no person may address the council more than once, except for speaking during an advertised public hearing for an ordinance. At the time designated for public comment, the mayor or other presiding officer of the council will recognize one speaker at a time. That speaker must identify himself or herself by full name and whether or not he or she resides in Hackensack. No other member of the public is permitted to speak unless recognized by the presiding officer, and the other remote attendees may be muted during that time if necessary to eliminate background noise. Meeting attendees shall exhibit appropriate demeanor during this meeting as required by Section 37-15 of the City Code. In the event any member of the public becomes disruptive at any time, that individual may be muted by the presiding officer and will receive a warning that continued disruption may result in being prevented from speaking or removed from the meeting entirely. The Zoom meeting platform has a texting function. However, this is to be used only for the purpose of advising the city's IT staff of any technical concerns or issues. The public may also submit written public comments to be audibly read into the record by the city clerk during the public portion of any remote public meeting of the City Council. Comments can be submitted by regular mail or by email to asab@hackensack.org. Comments received less than 5 hours before the start of a meeting may be carried to the next meeting. Any person who actually speaks during the public comment portion of a remote public meeting may not also have a comment read into the record. The city clerk will stop reading a written comment into the public record once it reaches the 3-minute limit. Duplicate written comments may be summarized and noted for the record in a consistent manner.
Thank you. Okay, with roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Councilmember Battaglia.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrosse.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance
To the
to the flag
of the
of the
United States of America and
and to the republic
for
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
all.
Thank you. Okay. There are no proclamations or presentations tonight. There are no approval of the minutes. So with that, I want to take a moment to welcome our new city manager, Mr. Vincent Caruso. We welcomed him at the Council of the Whole meeting, but this is his first official Hackensack City Council meeting. So welcome, Mr. Caruso, Vinny, and look forward to working with you for years to come.
Thank you,
And with
Mayor.
that, I turn the platform over to you.
Okay. Mayor, just to start off, I just wanted to, we had extensive conversations in the Council of the Whole regarding the flood-related matters. Just to touch on a couple things that go along with that and what the city experienced. At the height of the storm, our fire department, the police department, EMS, OEM, and the DPW, all the resources were stretched to a level that has never been seen before. That resulted in a need to prioritize life-threatening calls for service. And in some cases, if it was not life-threatening, they may not have been able to get to everyone. And we apologize for that, but it was a storm that was catastrophic in nature, and the amount of rain that fell so quick, even those resources, they were out there and they just couldn't get to people. In addition, at one point during the storm, the fire department had to battle a working house fire within the city, and that in of itself strained the available fire apparatus to respond to emergencies and try to rescue people. The following day, the members of the council and I, along with Congressman Gottheimer, toured areas of the city immediately after the storm and witnessed firsthand the destruction that our residents and the business owners faced in the wake of the storm. We have viewed your pictures and your videos that have been sent to my office and understand your frustration. As we continue to recover from the storm, our Office of Emergency Management continues to distribute relief kits to our residents and was most recently instrumental in getting FEMA personnel on the ground in the city right now to assist our city residents that have been impacted by the flooding. Although we can understand everybody's frustration and anger, we ask for your patience as we continue to recover and work towards more solutions to benefit everybody. With that being said, a friendly reminder that the city has launched our Facebook page and Instagram page. Please search the City of Hackensack and follow both for most updated information and advisory. I've also been advised that we will be launching a Twitter page as well. So we'll have all three major social networking sites available for information regarding the city and in cases of emergency. Any resident that has any storm-related rubbish that may still be needed to be picked up, please contact the DPW and they will assist you. The health department will be offering COVID-19 vaccinations by appointment only on Tuesdays through the end of November. Please refer to our flyer on social media and our website regarding the times and locations. The City of Hackensack and the Main Street Business Alliance are hosting a food truck festival on Friday, October 8th. The location will be on the green from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m. I'm also pleased to inform the city has been awarded a grant in the amount of $218,693 for a shared services dispatch service with the township of Teaneck. Teaneck, we are combining our dispatch services with Teaneck Fire, who is also a career fire department, and we will be handling their dispatch hopefully in the first quarter of 2022. And of course, that will be for a fee that we pay to the city to do that. 100 Prospect Avenue will be adding additional parking. After the ordinance is amended at the September 28th council meeting, there'll be an addition of 5 parking spaces. Request was made for Zabriskie Street to be considered a one-way street. Our traffic division was asked to inspect and provide their recommendations. The recommendation is not to proceed at this time. They will run radar to monitor the speeders that are in that location in the meantime. That's all I have for my report, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. With that, we'll move into new business. Madam Clerk.
Okay.
Resolution 348-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 43-2021, an ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to update certain provisions relating to prohibited turns at intersection in chapter 170-64, schedule 15, prohibited turns at intersections. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Battaglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrosse.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please give your name to the clerk.
We have one,
Okay.
Esther S.
Go ahead.
Hello,
hear
everyone.
us?
My name is, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Esther. I live on James Street. Actually, myself, along with a few neighbors, we were informed about the city council. This is my first meeting since living in Hackensack, and I was quite excited to attend the meeting today. But quite to our surprise, we just found out that the meeting was online. But thank you for starting the meeting late to give us opportunity to join. And thank you for addressing that the flood did impact Hackensack. However, I'm a new resident. I've lived here for almost 5 years.
Ma'am,
And I
before,
was-
excuse me, I hate to cut you off, but we're in the middle of an ordinance. Is your conversation about the ordinance at hand, resolution 348-21?
No.
No, the public comment will be when after the docket is read and done and voted on, and then we open it to the public. These are for people to speak on these individual items. and only these individual items.
Okay, perfect. I'll wait for my turn.
I
Thank you.
apologize. But we have to get through this in order to do it. That's the way they do it, so. So is there anybody who wants to speak to resolution number 348-21 and only resolution 348-21? Frank, anyone with their hand raised?
There are no more hands raised.
Okay, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Need a
Need a
second?
second.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus,
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 43-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 349-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 45-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 166 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Uniform Construction Code Enforcement, establishing fees to be charged for approval of tents subject to UCC review. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a
Can I
motion
say
to-
something about this ordinance?
Dave, is that proper?
Well, the
Can you
problem
repeat?
that I see,
Good, Leo.
Chief, can I say something about the ordinance?
Yeah, it's a public
Okay.
hearing. So I mean, once the public hearing is closed, the council can deliberate and debate on the ordinance. So anybody can speak who's on the council about it.
So in
Thank
the
you,
way that I
Steve.
can say anything right now?
Yeah,
Yes.
the public has had their opportunity to speak, and you certainly have the ability as a council member to discuss and comment on the ordinance. That's correct.
They have not spoken yet, though. Not on this
Yeah.
ordinance.
All right, so if we're
I
on the
wait.
new ordinance, if we're on the new ordinance, then we should open it up to the public, allow
Right.
the public to participate if they choose to participate. And certainly, this is not a public session. This is a public hearing. So, any council member could ask questions, can engage in discussion, but my recommendation would be to hear from the public first.
Exactly.
Okay,
Once they've had
fine.
their chance to speak, have the council deliberate and discuss the matter to the extent they feel they want to do that.
So I wait. Second,
Okay. Motion to open to the public.
Offer.
second,
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please give your name to the clerk. Frank, anyone?
Me?
There is nobody, no, there's nobody from the public.
Okay, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Now
Roll
can I
call.
say something or?
We
Need
gotta
roll
do the
call.
vote first. Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Thing.
Council. We're just closing it to the public.
Okay. Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent and Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Okay, Leo.
Okay.
Go ahead, Leo.
The way I see the fee that is gonna be for all these restaurants that try to survive with all the problems that we got, I will say that we should be wait this kind of fee at least for another year. I don't consider that they should be charged restaurant they got a little tent just to survive with this type of problem that we got. I would say we should be just wait another year to try to charge people because they put in a tent just to try to survive in their own business. Because the way this is going, the tent they're gonna be in use at least for another year, who knows? So it's not the amount of money, it's the action that these people try to survive. And we're gonna charge them $150 for the tent, is the action. I think I disagree. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Steve, are you aware of
That's
this? Is this for all tents, Steve?
No, it is not. There are certain there are certain tents that are not required to be required. So they have to meet certain criteria in order to be not required to have a charge, right? So the requirements, I'm just looking at the regulation now. So it would have to be 16,800 square feet or less in area. It would have to be in place for fewer than 180 days. It could not be between, it would only be occupied between April 1st and November 30th. It can't have a anchoring system or foundation, and it cannot contain platforms or bleachers greater than 11 feet in height. So, if you're a restaurant with a tent at 16,800 square feet is a pretty big amount of space, right? I mean, that's a pretty large area, and I doubt any restaurants have a tent that large.
Well,
so long as it's
says
between April 1st and November 30th.
It says between 500 and 16,800 square feet. So 500 is not a stretch for a restaurant. That would only be
but I'm saying there does not need to be any fee if it meets these requirements, right? So there are certain tents that require Uniform Construction Code permits, and as such, these fees would be applicable. But it's really large winter tents, right? Because you have to meet all of these. There's 5 things you would have to meet in order to not charge for the tent. So no matter what, it can't be greater than 16,800 square feet, or there's a charge.
Okay.
And then let me finish, Leo. And then if it's only there from April through November, then you don't need a construction permit at all, and there will be no fee charge because you can just erect the tent. There might be fire code issues if you're gonna, and we have rules and regulations that we put into place when the pandemic started about outdoor dining and making sure that it's gonna, be safe for fire purposes. But you're probably your average restaurant tent is not going to need this permit at all.
Okay.
So this was done for a very specific purpose, which was that there was a large tent that needed to be constructed for a project, and we didn't really have anything to address this. It was the first time a tent of this nature, I think, had gotten to the construction officials' attention, and it sort of raised the issue of we don't have anything to cover this, and the construction office incurs costs in reviewing and sending inspectors out and making sure that a tent of that size and nature was safe. So I don't expect too many of these permits to ever really need to be issued at all.
Yeah, but the way you say here, between 500 and 16,000, right? 16,000. So an 1,810 will pay the 350.
Yeah, that's
it will only pay the 350 if it's got a permanent anchoring system, and it's going to be used between December and April, because that rule is in place because obviously in the wintertime, tents, there's a snow load that a tent can handle.
Exactly. So let's go and be realistic. The tent by Fairmont Diner will require the 350. The tent by Johnny Pan requests that amount. The tent by, I think, in the back of Villa Colombia, right? They will require the 350. They only maybe 1,500 feet or 1,800 feet, no bigger than that. So if you say 500 to 16,000, they're going to be there and they got to pay that 350.
Only if they would operate the tent in the winter.
Well, they're going to do it because that's the only way to survive.
A lot of them do operate in the winter, especially through COVID when things were crazy. But if this is going to hurt some of the small restaurants we have and we're trying to recuperate, I'm totally against hitting them with a bigger fee.
But what I would suggest, and what we have done in the past, and certainly was within the bounds of our sort of emergency authority, that we waived a lot of the fees specifically to restaurants. UCC fees, permitting fees, outdoor dining fees. So if the issue is specifically with respect to restaurants, you may want to consider whether to have, if you remember, we sort of put in an executive order ordinance that allowed the city manager to issue, some deviations to deal with the emergent situation. And we waived some fees. I don't think the construction office charged any fees, or the fire department charged any
My
fees,
point
even
being,
though
if
they
we
could
put it-
have for
if we put it-
restaurants.
If we put it in an ordinance and we don't have something to protect these restaurants, they're gonna get charged the money. That's all there is to it. Our guys are gonna charge them. They don't, they say the ordinance, they're gonna follow it, they're gonna say tough crap. So,
Look,
No.
if there are questions here, my suggestion would be, if you want to table it, and we can have the construction official sort of clarify.
well, I wanna
this,
see
I
exactly
think we
who,
could-
if there's any targeting here or anything else, and I don't mean targeting in a bad way. They may say, hey, yeah, we're spending a lot of money inspecting these tents at these restaurants. Well, then we need to know what kind of money we're talking about. But,
I can assure you that this came from the construction official's office. Because, as I said, they really have not had, situations. And quite frankly, I mean, there were rules, about the tents between, April and between November and April, because there was a lot of concern about making sure that they were safe. This came out of an application for a specific project that came in, that sort of the construction office had never dealt with before because of the nature of it. And, this fee would be potentially actually would be less than other fees that might have to be charged if we did not have this ordinance in place to this business. It was not a restaurant. So we were, this was for a permanent tent type structure.
Why don't we table it, get some information, maybe it can be amended before final adoption, to make sure that some of our restaurateurs and small businesses are protected. Because the last thing I want to do is, get people recovering from the pandemic, and we're going to just start smacking them for more money. It's the last thing I want to do.
And before I forgot, yet when we talk about sometimes not to charge, if people they lost the water heaters and the refrigerators or whatever, they are putting that at the street, to go to DPW and pay $10, and the way DPW are going to pick them up. Do we can waive that fee too?
Leo, let's talk about that separate. That's not part of this ordinance.
Okay.
So let's, is the council in favor of tabling this?
Yes.
All right.
Thank
Leo,
then
yes.
we have a motion to table ordinance 45-2021. So we would then need a motion.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Okay, so ordinance 45-2021 has been tabled.
Okay, resolution 350-21.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 46-2021, an ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add and delete a bus stop on Prospect Avenue within the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 46-2021, is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 28, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution number 351-21.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 47-2021, an ordinance to amend chapter 121 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Peddlers to prohibit the sale of goods and services on city property without authorization.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 47-2021, is introduced and passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 28, 2021, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 352-21.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 48-2021, an ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new handicap parking space in section 49.2, parking for the handicapped at 967 Main Street.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 48-2021, is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 28, 2021, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 353-21.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 49-2021, an ordinance adopting the 359-375 Main Street redevelopment plan for the delineated redevelopment area consisting of block 408, lots 1 and 16.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 49-2021, as introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on October 26, 2021, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the city council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 354-21.
This is a resolution authorizing the settlement of litigation entitled Emanuel to Vera versus City of Hackensack Claim Petition 2019-4034, pending in the New Jersey Division of Workers' Compensation.
Thank you. Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, resolution 355-21.
It's a resolution authorizing refund for 100% veterans exemption for 224 Summit Avenue in Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Yeah, before I go to the next one, it's not in my, it's on my sheet, but I don't have a resolution 356-21. So,
Okay, it's 35621 is a resolution authorizing tax refund for duplicate payments, state board judgments, and overpayments.
okay, need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 357-21.
357-21 has been pulled. It was pulled after all the paperwork went out.
Okay. What was the new resolution that came on?
I'm sorry?
Was there a new one? Was there another new resolution that came on later?
No, that one was,
No?
that one was pulled. And then the next one is 358. You should have 358.
Yeah, I have 358. Resolution 358-21.
This is a resolution awarding bid contract for Lodi Street Road Improvement Project to New Prince Concrete Construction.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 359-21.
It's a resolution authorizing the award of state contract for the purchase of 3 police sport utility vehicles.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 360-21.
It's a resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services to Neglia Engineering Associates for construction management for Bergen County ADA curb ramp compliance program.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 361-21.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 2 to Joseph M. Sanzeri, Inc. for South Newman Street, Temple Avenue stormwater conveyance improvements.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 363-21.
362, Mayor.
362-21. That's what I said.
I thought you said- Well, okay then. Resolution authorizing change order number 3, New Prince Concrete Construction for Main Street Sewer Separation.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 363-21.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 3 to New Prince Concrete Construction for Main Street Streetscape Project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 364-21.
This is a resolution, the authorization for cancellation of improvement authorization balances in the general capital fund.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 365-21.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 to DMR Architects for Johnson Park Sports Facility.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 366-21.
It's a resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation as per NJSA 40A:4-87 SFY 21 body worn camera grant.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. That was 366.
Yes.
Resolution 367-21.
It's a resolution authorizing special emergency appropriation for a reassessment of all real property in the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 368-21.
It's a resolution authorizing change order number 2 to Desmond Design Management for Atlantic Street Parking Garage renovation project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 369-21.
This is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of stale and outstanding checks.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Roll call.
Did we get a second?
Was there a second there? I thought.
They
there
say
was a
second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Lou.
Okay.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 370-21.
Resolution authorizing award of contracts for engineering services, Anderson Street Drainage, Railroad Avenue Sewer Separation.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 371-21.
It's a resolution authorizing award of contract number 2 to Clay Street Combined Sewer Overflow Separation as part of the Court Street Drainage Area CSO.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 372-21.
This is a resolution authorizing Post Pollock, PA to pursue a deed of easement for the expansion and installation of sewer main infrastructure across and under the ground of 278 River Street and across and under an area of Peters Road.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 373-21, payment of bills.
Resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent, Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, before we move forward with the consent agenda, does anybody have any conflicts on the consent agenda? Nobody?
No.
No?
Okay, let's move forward.
Okay. The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of Resolution 374-21 through 384-21. Resolution 374-21, a resolution authorizing the month of September as Hunger Action Month. Resolution 375-21 is a resolution commemorating the October 3rd signing of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. Resolution 376-21 is a resolution authorizing the submission of a 2022 New Jersey Department of Transportation Local Aid Infrastructure Fund application and execution of a grant agreement for the Summit Avenue Passaic Street intersection and roadway improvements project. Resolution 377-21 is a resolution accepting the local achievement program, otherwise known as LEAP, grant award for the shared dispatch services with Township of Teaneck project. Resolution 378-21 is a resolution authorizing leave of absence for police officer Matthew DeBonis from August 12, 2021 to September 27, 2021. Resolution 379-21 is a resolution approving appointment of school crossing guards for the 2021 and 2022 school year. Resolution 380-21 is a resolution calling for the Federal Aviation Administration to fully implement the Route 17 flight path into Teterboro Airport. Resolution 381-21 is a resolution authorizing the City of Hackensack to enter into a shared service cooperative pricing system agreement with Passaic Valley Sewerage Commissioners. Resolution 382-21 is a resolution authorizing the appointment of Glenn Zabransky as ADA Coordinator. Resolution 383-21 is a resolution authorizing and requesting the Planning Board undertake a preliminary redevelopment investigation to determine whether the delineated area of Block 305, Lot 4, otherwise known as 78 Trinity Place, satisfies the criteria for designation as an area in need of redevelopment for non-condemnation purposes. And Resolution 384-21 is a resolution concurring with the Planning Board's redevelopment investigation, finding that Block 411, lots 13, 14, 15, and 2.01, otherwise known as 477 through 483 Main Street and 11 Clinton, satisfy the criteria for designation as an area in need of redevelopment for non-condemnation purposes. We need a motion.
Okay. Need a motion to adopt the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, this time I need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, Frank.
Yep, there's a few hands raised. The first is Candy Stewart. I'm just gonna pull up the clock as well to make sure we have that. But Candy, are you able to speak?
Candy, can you hear us? Are you on mute? Ms. Stewart? Ms. Stewart? For those trying to speak, when you raise your hand, please make sure you unmute your device.
Frank, I don't see the clock. Are you sure it's up there?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
She is unmuted. I'm seeing that she's also unmuted. Oh, she just muted herself again. We can always move on to the next
Okay,
person.
can you hear me?
I
Yes.
can hear you now.
Okay,
Hold
okay.
on.
Thank you. Also, I'm speaking, this is Blanche Stewart, 3rd Street, Hackensack, New Jersey. I also receive flooding in my basement every time it rains. I live in between High and Clay, so I understand the situation with Clay. I also have known for the last 40 years, there's been the same issue between Central and Passaic from 3rd Street to the railroad tracks. I guess it became an emergency just recently. Therefore, we have Gottheimer coming to make speeches. So I hope you pay closer attention because it's not just the 3rd Ward, but the 3rd Ward is a low-lying ward, and this problem has to be resolved. My issue is you keep giving us promises, but we need dates when it's going to start and when it's going to be completed. So please let us know. I no longer want any water, and I want to know when it's going to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I'm going to talk to that real quick. None of us want water in our basements,
me off.
believe me.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me, Ms. Stewart?
Now I can.
Okay, I'm sorry. And I agree with you, none of us want water in our basements, and it has started, Ms. Stewart. I don't know if you're on earlier, but the piping coming up from the river where it has to come up from in order to alleviate the problem is already up on Union Street heading towards Central, that direction, and we'll be making a turn up the hill. Aaron from Suburban will probably be speaking to that again at the end of the public session with all the questions we're going to have with the flooding, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of them. But we have started, but it's not going to be this isn't an overnight project. This isn't a wiggle your nose and we all wake up in the morning and flooding's never going to happen anymore. We have to get the pipe up there. It's a major job. And I think it's about a $27 million project we have allocated monies for to get this done. So we are working on it. We understand everybody's frustration, especially after this whopper of a storm we just had. So just bear with us, but thank you, Candy.
I'm sorry, because I didn't think I had 3 minutes, but I appreciate what you just said. However, is there a begin date, and when is the end date is mostly important. When is the end date? When can we see that this is going to be over for us? I get all the water coming off of Quail Heights wall like a waterfall. So something obviously is wrong there also. So is
Right.
there an end date? Is there a
I'll let Erin
completion
speak to
date?
that at the end. And I'm sure she's writing that down as one of the questions. I know the
Thank you.
questions for timelines have been mentioned by several people in the earlier meeting. And we are going to, in the future, there's going to be time allotted every 2 weeks at the council meeting just for stormwater updates from the engineering firm and our engineers. So that will happen on every 2 weeks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next person from the public is Carolyn Davis.
Okay, we have no clock.
Are you guys not the clock?
I
No.
see the clock.
It's up now, John.
Oh, hold
I can
on.
see it.
Yep, I got it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question now has to do with referring back to the garbage pickup. I do understand that things happen where they can't come. I don't understand why we can't use the system that has been set aside. Every time we speak to people or people want questions, they're always told to go to Nickel, that they should sign up so they can find out what's happened throughout the city. So if that's the case, and they already know that they're not going to be able to pick up the garbage on a scheduled day, why can't they send out a nickel advice? So someone like myself at 72, and I don't have my husband right now, doesn't have to, and not just me, anybody, drag our garbage cans out to move them out, and then no one comes to pick them up. Now we have to move them back in. We don't know if they're coming tomorrow, or should we bring them back in until Friday? So why can't there be a nickel announcement for things like that? Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to address that right away too. Vinny, if you could look into that with DPW and sanitation, why that happened there today. I have no idea why. So if you could find out and then maybe have Jacqueline or somebody in the office get back to some of the residents who have brought it up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Mayor. There was an issue today where they could not finish the route due to trucks being down, but we are in the process of getting 2 new trucks. And then I just spoke to the CFO and we may be able to get 2 more. So we're going to get 4 new trucks. They need 7 trucks to do all the routes, and they're just some maintenance issues and one caught fire. So we're working on an immediate improvement to get more garbage pickup.
All right. So
Can I
yes.
interject for a sec? There
Sure.
was a nixle that went out today. It said sanitation pickup delays this week. Please keep garbage and recycling curbside until collected. It went out at like 3:30-ish. I'm just reading it off my phone.
So they should leave it curbside then.
Yeah,
That's what it says.
curbside until.
Yeah, we sent that Nixle out around 3:30, and we also posted it on social media. So
All right. Well, we got to make sure we communicate to these people, maybe sometimes a little earlier, but I'm glad it went out. All right, next person, please.
the next person, I'm trying really hard with these names. Majed Mohammed.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes, John. I can hear you. This is Victor from Hackensack. John, when you bring, I'm just saying to the council, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, to the meetings to talk to the citizens. The young lady that spoke from, I guess, the engineering firm, I felt that that was a little insensitive when she said that basically they on their own. You know, and can we find out, is there a way to get some type of assistance for people up in that area? Maybe some grants or something, so
We
they
have,
don't
we
have
looked
to,
at, go ahead, Mr. Geddes.
yeah, put out grants and stuff for have grants to help people out in the areas that what she said, 100-year flood areas, for they don't have to take on that you know, that big issue financially. Can someone look into that, John?
Yeah, I can answer that right away. We are in the middle of doing much of that right now, but FEMA is in Hackensack big time. They've been here all week or since the end of last week. A lot of people are filing, and I recommend to everybody on this call, if you have damage and you haven't filed a FEMA claim, you need to get up online or make the call to FEMA to get on board with them, because they will come right to your house, or they will be coming to your house, or they'll be calling you to go over your damage and assessing it that way. But there are several different things out there that we're working with to try to assist, especially with small business owners. There's something tomorrow at Bergen Community College in Hackensack. I think it's at 10:30 or 11 o'clock for small business owners to have disaster recovery assistance, to get on board with that. And no, there's help out there. It's just a matter of,
Right, getting the information to people.
getting the information out to people. But a lot of it's on the website, Mr. Geddes.
Okay, I just want to say, but I'm talking about for the future, for people that live in that gentleman's area where it's not much can be done, and they have to take on the responsibility to waterproofing their basement. Can we say, is there any grants out there for them?
We can look. I mean, that's part of what FEMA will do.
Okay.
FEMA will come in and assist. They'll help to give you money to clean up and waterproof and do stuff like that. So,
all right, we just got to get that out there. The people need to get out there, John, and talk to FEMA, because they're going to need some assistance.
There's been robocalls. There's been I did a robocall last week throughout the city, giving FEMA's number and everything else. Not FEMA's number, FEMA's website. So we're getting it out there, and it's on the city website.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Okay, next is Haley Silverstone.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I live on Clinton and Passaic, and I have just three things that I wanted to speak about tonight. The first one, I wanted to just say thank you to all of you for continuing to have virtual meetings like this. Not only is it keeping everyone safe during all the things that are going on right now, but it also just makes this a lot more accessible for people who just can't get out of the house to go to an in-person meeting at this time of day. So even when we've gotten through this pandemic, I would encourage you to continue some type of virtual component to the council meetings if possible, for those of us who can't get out of the house at this time, like for childcare reasons or otherwise. Secondly, I wanted to ask, I've noticed since moving in several years ago that garbage days or not, it doesn't really matter. We have just litter on the sidewalks. I notice it in our neighborhood. I notice it all up and down Summit Ave when I go for walks. Just wondering if there's anything that can be done to help with that. whether it be signs. I know that there are signs that for, picking up, dog poop and things like that, but maybe there could be a sign and a fine for littering. And also if it would be possible to put just public garbage cans on some corners, just so that people who need somewhere to throw their trash don't just throw it on our front lawn, which is what is happening, unfortunately. That would be great if that could be looked into. And the third thing I wanted to talk about was the intersection of Summit and Passaic. I walk past there from my house to my parents-in-law's home, who live just past that intersection. It is not pedestrian friendly whatsoever. It is incredibly dangerous to walk through that intersection. There are no crosswalk signs. You have designated crosswalks, but there's no like little man in the box telling you when to go. And it's an intersection where you have an arrow for left turns, and the rest of traffic has to wait for them. And that's not clear necessarily if you're a pedestrian. And there's just a lot of blind spots in general. So I know that there have been deaths at that intersection, pedestrian deaths. So it would be great if something could be done to make that a little safer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, unfortunately, we did lose a Hackensack resident there beginning of the summer, unfortunately. It is a dangerous intersection. We have to work with the county on that because Passaic Street is a county road. And it's kind of a weird setup how you have left-hand turn signals for certain ways, but not the other. That has a lot to do with the width of the street. I couldn't agree with you more on the littering. I see it all the time throughout Hackensack. It drives me a little crazy. I think more cans might be a good answer, but also a little education of our public, of our people in town. I see people throwing stuff out of cars. It just drives me nuts. The virtual meetings going full time. There might be a hybrid component moving forward. We'll see. We'll have to work that out with IT. But there is also a plus of also having in-person meetings when you're dealing with the public as well. So I think the way of the future, as you'll see, is some type of hybrid moving forward. And thank you for your time, Ms. Sorensen. Next person, please.
Okay, so next up we have Evelyn Santos.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
So I was just in the other meeting, and there's a few more things that I wanted to clarify. I wanted to say that I did notice that you guys were fixing the sidewalks for handicaps, but I believe that it would have been wiser to spend the money on fixing Clay Street and all the surrounding areas with the sewage issue. The way our street floods, they would not be able to walk or use the sidewalk for any manner. We are also now 6 out of 10 from FEMA in flood zone. Does this mean that we'll be paying less taxes, or does it mean that we're in a flood zone? And what happens when I can no longer afford to replace my water heater and HVAC because it's flooding 3-4 times a year? It feels like this is going to continue. If it happens again, is there money set aside for us who get affected because it continues to flood over here? I understand it's a timely thing, so I get that it takes time. But as the lady mentioned before, give us a time frame. Does it mean in 2 years, so I have to worry for 2 years that I'm going to continue to get 3 to 4 floodings a year as I've been getting lately? When Elsa, I was also told that because I lost my water heater, I needed a permit. I didn't get a chance to even put in the permit when I got flooded again, and I had to purchase a secondary water heater. So I am thankful that you guys are waiving the fees until the 31st. But what happens in the next flood? Do I have to come back and pay more fees just to get the water heater replaced that got flooded because of the street water? I am scared to purchase anything that of value to put in my basement. In the last mention, they said to proof your house for water, but I did. I spent over $10,000 putting cellar doors, raising the 3 feet in the front of my basement entrance. That did not help. It was like putting money in a fire pit and just lighting it on fire, because nothing helps with the amount of water we get outside. What is going to happen in Clay Street in the meantime so that this doesn't happen, or what preventative measures can you guys take? Because something has to give. I want something done immediately in Clay Street, because all of us, over 20 houses, lost over $150,000 worth of equipment. And we're thinking to actually do a class lawsuit against Hackensack so that they can repair and give us money, because not all of us can afford to replace water heater, HVACs, AC 3-4 times a year. So I want to see something happen, and I would like for you guys to tell us what can be done immediately in Hackensack to prevent this in the next years until you complete whatever work it is that you need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to leave that to Aaron. But again, I would reiterate, there is no immediate fix to this. I understand your frustration. You've lost multiple times. You've lost equipment. I think I spoke to you personally one day too about it. You've lost multiple things in your house. I understand your frustration. I would be furious too. But this, again, will not be an overnight fix. It's just not going to happen. We're trying. We're moving forward. And, you know, hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate and give us a break with some of the weather we've been having. But that said, it's a project that's underway, and we're going to push it forward as fast as possible. Next person, please.
The next person up is Bridget.
Okay.
Okay, once again, I'm back again. So here we are. I've listened to people in the community from Clay Street. Yes, Miss Evelyn, I agree with you 100%. We have been dealing with flooding here on Stanley Place for over 45 years. So I agree with you. I've lost, like I said, a multitude of things that are sentimental to my family. Then, with that being said, once again, yeah, people are ready to class action lawsuit against the city of Hackensack because they're tired. Excuses are just a form that you guys don't want to accept the blame. Then we have Miss Anita Rivers talking about a community group. Yes, the work group of Hackensack is a community group. You guys don't want to sit down across the table and have a conversation with the community. Not us. We're willing to have that conversation about the problems in our areas. It's you guys. Oh, but maybe it might not just be all of them, but it might just be certain ones. But those certain ones get results. Those certain ones hold each other accountable. Those certain ones know about accountability and leadership. So that's what I'm trying to say here. You guys need to sit down with us and talk about this area. This area needs fixing. And as far as Aaron is concerned, where is your empathy and sympathy for the people? Because you have none, because it didn't affect you. You didn't lose anything. So the scenario is, as you are a project manager, you should have some empathy and sympathy for those people that lost a multitude of things. Then the next one was, the Nixle. You sent it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the only reason why it got sent is because I had to call the supervisor, call DPW, tell him to say something, put it out there. That's the only reason that Nixle happened. Once again, where's the leadership? Where?
Ms. Rucker, you done? I assume. Next person, please.
Next up is Joshua Cohen.
Go ahead, John.
Hi, good evening again. I just want to echo or repeat some of the safety issues with that Summit and Passaic Crossing. When you're on the west side of the street heading north, or I'm sorry, the west side of the street heading south, you can't see the cross light at all. The lights have blinders on them, and it prevents you from being able to see what color the light is. So you have to go by the opposite direction. If that's red, then you can guess that it's green, and then you can go. And the same thing is true for heading north on the east side of the street. You can't see the light from that direction either. And I believe that's the side where the lady was killed. So you did strike the lanes, the walkway, which is good, but you can't see the light. It's really terribly unsafe. And I don't even like to cross it when I'm walking with my son. I'll generally go down Passaic and then over to Prospect or something because it's really unsafe to cross. I also wanted to respond to Erin's comments at the last meeting. I was actually kind of bothered and disturbed by how she responded about the 100-year flood zone. We have a huge development going in down there. We're clearly developing that area. And we're expecting to have more flooding down there, and there's nothing that can be done about it. If that's the case, then we need to come up with a better development plan for the city. Destroying personal property is horrible. It's terrible for the residents that live there. Someone spoke about having sewage volcanoing from his toilet. I can relate to that. It's terrible. But to put more residents down there in a flood zone and to expect property owners to continue to develop down there makes no sense from a city planning perspective. So I didn't understand that response at all. I also just didn't understand not prioritizing Clinton and Prospect. It's Clinton, it's not Anderson Street, so it sounds like you might not be familiar with it. We have sewage overflowing onto the street. It's not just in my basement. During any of these storms and this month, there's sewage on the street. Michael McAloon has said it's possibly due to a narrowing of the pipe that's under a big building on Euclid and Grand. I don't see why fixing that pipe has anything to do with the other projects going on elsewhere and why they can't go on at the same time. Michael has called that low-hanging fruit. It should be easy to address. And we are in a low-lying area. Christine Blaney from the DEP called this intersection a fishbowl because of all the water and the low depression that we're on. So I'd love to hear those issues readdressed by Erin. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Next up, we have Esther.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. I live on James Street, and I just wanted to share how impactful the storm was. That evening where the storm hit Hackensack, someone must have called a fire truck, and the fire truck was left stranded outside of my home. And that's just an example of how high the flood waters were. And also, too, God forbid if there was another emergency where that fire truck was needed, it was stuck outside my home and it needed to be towed. So as people has previously stated, I do think it's important to focus on the third ward of Hackensack. In addition, I do want to talk about the lighting issue in the third ward of Hackensack. James Street, Clay Street, as well as Stanley Place. These streets are very poorly lighted, whereas when we go to the Fairmount section of Hackensack or even to Prospect, those places are very well lit. So I do want to know what the city plans to do in terms of providing better lighting for those neighborhoods, as well as improving the pavement for those neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Okay, so next up we have Guerline.
Go ahead.
I would just like to know if the previous question will be answered.
I'm sorry.
The question that was initially stated about street lighting, is there a timeline on when neighbors or people that reside on James Street should expect that?
That's an issue that has to be addressed with public service, which we can do. That's a public service and lighting. The city of Hackensack on residential streets does not control the street lights, but we will certainly try to address it with public service.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll work on that, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up is Anita Rivers.
Thank you once again, City Council, Mayor. You know that myself and two other citizens sent a letter requesting to meet with you, and we were deferred to the COW meeting, which we attended. But it's my concern that there are community activists, such as the work group, myself, and others, who would like to sit down with you or your representatives to really work out a plan. I am particularly interested in finding out what your policies are in regards to the flood and the water sewer separations, as well as what type of sustainability development plan does the city of Hackensack have? Because it's pretty obvious to me, despite what Aaron stated, that the redevelopment has caused an imbalance in the natural environment. And so we are left vulnerable to these to these decisions that are being made without looking at how it's impacting our natural environment. I mean, the writing is on the wall. You continue to say, Mayor, during these meetings, if Mother Nature would be kind enough. Well, we have to be kind to Mother Nature, and we have to figure out a plan in which we can regain balance. And I, for one, would like to know after this meeting, how myself and others who are willing to roll up our sleeves can sit down with you and the rest of City Council to really come up with workable plans. Yes, interim plans. I've flood-proofed my house as best as I know how, but if Aaron has some other plans and can help me find the money to do that much more, then that would help. So that's
Ms. Rivers, I can't hear you.
I said that was the end of my comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Frank, next person from the public.
There are no more speakers from the public.
Motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one's opposed. Stephanie?
Mark, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
John, did you want Aaron? I'm sorry.
Aaron, did
Oh,
you
yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, Aaron,
Absolutely.
you're up. Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you. First, I just would like to apologize for my presentation at the CAL maybe seeming insensitive. I really did not intend that. It's not how I feel. I had family that was impacted by this storm. I've been out there the past few storms with the first responders, with DPW. So I really do apologize that it came across that way. Not what I intended whatsoever. Some of the questions that were asked, I think, to touch on, hopefully I have them all. The Clay Street project that we were talking about that's under construction right now. Though we don't have a definite schedule because there's an easement that's required, and that schedule is something we can't project right now. We are hopeful that that project can be done by the end of 2022. Again, this is the work you'll see on Union Street now. We should be on Clay Street near Park Street by the end of the week. When you see that active construction, that is coming up to that low region. As far as the 100-year floodplain goes, again, I really do apologize for seeming insensitive, not the intent. The 100-year floodplain is very complex. And I guess that's what I was trying to convey. When you live in a flood zone, own property in a flood zone, there are risks that are identified. And every property owner really should be aware of those. And that's what I was trying to convey. The city has information on the website now to look at FEMA resources. There are grants available to the property owners. I recommend that you look into these and really take them seriously at this time. Right after a natural disaster, they're more prevalent. You're going to see a lot more money offered to municipalities that were impacted, but it's through the individual property owner. I also stated that the city has authorized us to pursue some larger FEMA grants. And we are really succeeding in that. We've made it to a second round in an appropriation through the senator's office. Right now, the governor's office is looking at a project in Hackensack that will have a great impact on a lot of what we talked about today. That will advance these plans by decades. So this is all happening behind the scenes. I understand you're not privy to all this information. Again, the 100-year floodplain is very complex, not something appropriate to cover in a really brief Q&A session. So I apologize for that. That's why it seemed insensitive. My connection I was trying to make is just how complex that area is. Mr. Cohen, as far as Clinton and Prospect, I meant the Anderson Street combined sewer area. That's what I was referring to. And if we need to have a follow-up, we definitely can do so. From what I spoke to Mike from our office, the city's licensed operator about and what you're conveying, I think a follow-up is probably required. It should be noted that all of these projects we're talking about impact the overall drainage area. So we're going to see benefits across the board, but we can definitely follow up there. I just saw a message come up that someone applied for a FEMA relief, and I think they said they were rejected. All property owners within the 100-year floodplain should carry flood insurance. It's a requirement, and that's something that needs to be pursued first. Anything your flood insurance doesn't cover, typically, then you could apply for these grants. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have conversations with all these people to understand that process. And again, what monies are available to you. Any information that I have, I will share with the project management team, who I'm sure will get it up online for everyone to find. I know right now there is a phone number up there that's kind of a hotline, if you would. Of course, there's high volumes, but they will help you through that. I think those are all the questions I had written down that were asked. Again, I really apologize if my sympathy wasn't conveyed during that. That wasn't the intent. I just felt I was trying to answer some questions fairly quick. I do see some things in the chat. I'm not sure if you guys want me to answer them or if there's any other questions you think I didn't address.
The chat's only supposed to be used to notify the moderator of an IT problem.
Okay.
But yeah, because if we went back and forth, I'd have to open it back up to the public. I've already closed that.
Gotcha.
So my question is that Jefferson, I don't know how familiar with the Jefferson project down there, but is any part of that property in the 100-year plan?
I don't believe so. I would have to double check the maps for that specific property. The 100-year floodplain is something controlled by the state, and FEMA maps that. It is very hard to build within the 100-year floodplain. And one of the things you have to prove.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But
yeah, it shouldn't be. And one of the things you'd have to prove is you would have absolutely no impact on the surrounding properties around you. It's a very difficult approval to get if you are within it. So for that reason, I would anticipate they're not within the 100-year floodplain.
And I know, Josh, I know what you're thinking when you were, why are we building that down there? That, number one, a developer such as Leventhal Garden Homes is building that is not going to build a building where he knows he's going to get flooded out all the time. I mean, yes, it was actually closer to a 500-year storm. That particular development has a huge amount of underground water retention. The full length of the property, 3 giant tubes. I've seen it myself. It's huge. You can actually, if you're going up towards Kinderkamak, near the end of that property, you'll see the retention area that goes on and the size of the pipes that go under that building. So they put a lot of money and time into handling stormwater. It's just unfortunately when you get something like we just had, even they got flooded as well. So all of our buildings, Main Street, no matter where we're building now, have underground water retention systems and ways they, big projects have to have ways to handle storm water runoff. Another reminder is before those buildings were there was impervious land. There was blacktop parking lot, whatever. It wasn't like there were buildings there before. There was buildings there before. So there was property there before. So stormwater had nowhere to go then. So it's not like they're taking away the impervious areas. They have created underwater retention systems, which have helped tremendously. But again, to answer the question about why not start right here, you can't, there's no immediate fix to the problem, because if you put big pipes by Railroad Avenue in that area right now, it has nowhere to go. The pipe has to come from the river first. That's the only way it's going to work. So, and that's why you see it. It's coming up. It's already down to the river. It's coming up Union now. It's going to be going up by Clayton Park by the end of the week, as Aaron just told you. So anything else, Aaron?
No, just I'll work with the project management team just to make sure this information is more readily available so you can understand the progress and where we're headed. I think that's something we could definitely do better, and I'll make sure that that's available to you all.
And just so you know, every 2 weeks we're going to have to carve out some time to during the CAL session to meet with the public just related to stormwater and where we are on this. So
no problem.
We want them to know exactly what's going on with the project, timeframes and whatever we can give them. Right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have an email from a resident. I didn't get a chance to jump in before.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, do I have to reopen the meeting?
No, I think I can just read it.
Okay.
We
So I
didn't
need
close
to
the meeting.
put the timer on?
Yeah, you can put the timer on.
Oh, I already removed the timer. Okay.
Well, we'll do it.
Here you, Deb.
All right, got it. Okay. To the mayor and council. On Wednesday evening, September 1st, as a result of the storm, Stanley Place was flooded again due to the infrastructure. I know that your response will be, it floods everywhere. However, we live here in Hackensack, New Jersey, and can definitely speak about our experiences here. The infrastructure should have been a priority before all of the apartments went up. It also has been stated that the last council did not address the flooding. However, the last council did not build all of these apartment buildings, eliminating green space, which has contributed to an already outdated infrastructure. I will send pictures of my street, Stanley Place, for your viewing in a separate email. This time the water came all the way up our walkway. Had we not had steps, our possessions may have been destroyed because the water could have seeped into our home. Had my car not been in my driveway and my mother's car not in a driveway, our vehicles would have been totaled. My heart goes out to the many that have had such damage. Once again, I urge you to listen to the voices of the community. Respectfully, Dora Mae Davis.
Okay. Steffi, you're up.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. There's no words for the flooding and losing things of value, sentimental things. There's no words for it. So I'm truly sorry for that. We are working, as fast as possible. I know as a council, we want to see these projects done as quick as possible to help mitigate the flooding and the damage and the heartache the residents are enduring. We hate hearing those types of things, but it's a slow process. It's not going to happen after overnight. I think in the meantime, some of the things that we can do is continuing what the DPW and our project managers have been doing, and they've been doing, just thanking them for being out there 24/7 and trying to mitigate as much as possible, trying to keep the drains clear. Our police and fire, our engineers are out there. I think everybody, is very concerned for you guys, and we want the best for everybody. But it's not going to happen overnight. And I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but we're trying. Just one of the things I was thinking as these answers and questions were going back and forth is maybe next time when we do have a Zoom and Aaron updates us. I know Aaron's done this in the past on the overall project, but maybe bringing up a map and seeing where the project is now and what the next steps are. I think sometimes when people can see a map and see what the next steps are and some type of timeline. Of course, the timelines are never guaranteed because of weather and things, but just kind of giving some type of finality to it and kind of seeing the progress. It's kind of nice to see that. I think using our new social media platforms, Nixle, robocalls to get out information about the FEMA applications, where we could go. just thinking aloud, maybe setting up some type of not a meeting, but some way to help people fill out the applications if they need help. Maybe if English isn't their first language, I could try to talk to the library. Maybe they could do something like that, but maybe somewhere to go for some help in filling out these applications, because I think they could be kind of lengthy. Information on flood insurance. Some people might not realize they need flood insurance still if they don't have a mortgage on their home anymore. Just different things, maybe like an information session. I know the mayor said the one at Bergen Community College was having something, but maybe a Zoom session would be easier for people to attend. So maybe we could look into something like that. But again, thank you to all our city workers who are out there. We were getting the updates, and I know everybody was out there trying to help as best as they can. And there were a lot of rescues and dangerous situations. So thank you to everybody. Welcome to Mr. Caruso, his first meeting. It's fun. It would have been nicer to be in person, but it is nice that more people could join via Zoom, because sometimes people can't get there out of work and everything. So one day we'll be back in person, hopefully. School's underway. Please just be careful of the students walking and crossing. To the parents, please obey the double parking, and don't speed trying to get your kids to school. I know a lot of people are a little anxious to get there, but just obey all the traffic laws. In regards to Passaic and Summit, yes, that for some reason, that intersection there, that left turn arrow, I think people forget that's a left turn arrow. I've seen so many people kind of go when they see that left turn, go straight. I don't know why. I've been there and seen it a lot of times, but again, I don't know if there's something maybe we could kind of look into that, maybe a traffic study a little bit more. And then earlier, Mr. Mangan and Ms. Ziza introduced at the committee of the whole meeting some grants that the city and the Chamber of Commerce are trying to roll out for small businesses and medium income residents. And maybe once that's finalized, we could kind of send that out there via social media and Nixle and get that information out to everybody that's needed. But thank you again for being here, and we'll definitely continue the conversation and see what we could do to help everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Kathy?
All right, thanks, Steph. Welcome, Vincent. It was tough to have a first day like you had, but thanks from this, from the whole council. You kind of hit the ground running because you had to. We really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Talk just for a minute. Again, I already spoke quite a bit about the sewer. First, thanks to Aaron. We appreciate your being here and giving us, whatever information that you have at your fingertips, and trying to address the questions and the concerns of the folks, that you can hear the frustrations in their voices. And we have to continue to share as much information as possible. Vincent, maybe we want to, and Frank, you're still on the line, maybe we want to look at, when we started having a lot of questions with redevelopment, we created a page on the website for redevelopment projects. So anyone who wanted to could go look there and learn things about it. Maybe we need to do something similarly for, with the sewer work. Is, Erin, maybe when she comes up with something that is easy to understand, and again, like Steph said, has some maps, has some pictures, that, at their leisure, who's ever interested in understanding or learning more, and helping everyone be prepared to even ask better questions, because they did read it and had time to understand it rather than just hearing it, in 5 or 10 minutes. So maybe we could, accumulate, get together, Erin, with the project managers, and maybe we, start slow, but start adding some information there, especially in a lot of the work that did get done. All the work that did get done in Lower Main Street that actually, removed all that stormwater from the mix by having it go into separate stormwater pipes, and, how that's going to continue to happen and help. And, where we are now, and as Aaron says, hoping to get through to 2022, and by the end of it, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. But hearing progress reports helps. It kind of gives everyone a little bit of a comfort to know that things are progressing. And when there are issues, we're going to be honest, and we're going to tell you what those issues are and how they impact it. But I mean, just tonight, I always like to go over the highlights of what's on the agenda that I want people to understand or be aware of. There were a few sewer things on here tonight. We're doing some paving on Lodi Street, and there's an area that also floods, especially in the Green Street area. And we're going to be looking at those inlets to the catch basins, et cetera, while we're doing all that. And also on there is looking at Railroad Avenue, Clay Street, and what's funneling into that Court Street nonsense that's backing things up. And it actually includes, there's another resolution, Aaron referenced an easement. We need and we are working on an easement that's going to be bringing this water down through Fashini Park. So, we kind of rushed and got that put on here right away too, because as Aaron said, that's another moving piece that we have to get in place to have all this thing happen. So, there are a few things here, even just tonight, that show, the city's commitment to moving these things quickly and getting the work done. Anita, in the sake of full transparency, there's sewer issues throughout the city. And I think having it at the COW meeting allows everyone to be involved. Whoever wants, even if folks just want to listen in and hear. So I think, rather than having all these separate little meetings, I think it makes more sense, as we plan to do, is to add this to the COW agenda, to let anyone who wants to come and learn or listen and be involved. And it also allows the whole council to be part of this, not violate sunshine laws or have to pick two. We can all be here and we can all listen and learn, and it's important to each and every one of us. Just very quickly, the couple of items of redevelopment we're also on tonight. The corner of Main and Passaic, the credit union, they've moved in, or they're in the process of moving into their new building down on Kansas Street. So about 110 units will be going in on that corner, and something I was on there about that tonight. And then a couple other projects, we've talked repeatedly about Bruce, the Bed King area. They're looking to redevelop, and the Lot T area. There was two other items on here that's kind of just declaring redevelopment areas around them, where Bruce the Bed King is, and actually self-contained in Lot T, designating that whole area so that project can move. So in a nutshell, that's it. Thanks everyone for staying with us all night, and see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Leo? Leo, you there? Leo, unmute yourself.
Yes, I am here. First of all, welcome, Mr. Caruso to the city of Hackensack. And I want to wish a quick recuperation to Jerry that he got a little accident over the weekend. I hope so he get better in the next few days. I was the other Wednesday and the inauguration of the tennis courts in the Hackensack High School. That one, they look beautiful. I worked with the Congressman George Hyman and the city manager in different areas of the city, and in no question, I saw the frustration of the residents, including myself, that I got water in one of the houses, and in my own house, I got like about 1 inch, in the other house, I got like 4 inches, and my neighbor right here in Herman Street, they lost the whole thing in the basement because they got like about 4 feet of water. So the problem with the rain was all over the place. With the garbage, the garbage trucks, we really got a bad week. We got one truck that got into an accident, one truck catch fire, another truck blew the transmission, and we got some problem with the parts. We are working to try to get new trucks. They already ordered 2 trucks in July. And we're going to buy another 2 trucks now, and the way by next year they be here, because this truck, believe it or not, take at least 2 months to 10 months to get into the city after you order. And then we are looking at the possibility to maybe to lease 3 trucks, and the way we got at least maybe 10 or 11, and the way something happen, at least we would have at least 8 trucks to do the routes. About paving, we did American Legion, Catalpa, Lookout, Clarence, Jefferson, and we are working to do the paving for Beach Street, Pine Street, Lodi, Campbell, Grove, Passaic Street, First Street, and Second Street. And we continue working. I know that the residents don't believe it, but the only thing you have to go and walk by areas like Union Street, and now they're going to be Clay Street, that we are working to try to solve the problem. Everybody got the same problems, one and the other, but at least we are working to try to find a solution for this problem. Have a good night, and my heart is with all you guys that just like my neighbor, the damage in the basement is over 10,000 at least, boilers, water heaters, you name it. Have a good night.
Thank you, Leo. I want to start out by welcoming Annie Caruso. Hit the ground running at a time when we needed to run. So thank you for doing that, sir. Appreciate it. Welcome aboard. Heard some comment in that letter. I have to address this. It was mentioned that all the development we put up was taking away green space. That's just not true. None of the redevelopments built on green space, to my knowledge. They were all existing old buildings that were there. If they did have any green space, the only one that would have some would be the Oritani Field Club, which was really a big building with some tennis courts and a pool. So, but we're not taking over green space to put up these buildings. That just wasn't true. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it for the ribbon cutting for the tennis courts yesterday, but they do look beautiful, and I heard it went very well. Unfortunately, I had to work and had an appointment at work. Other paving besides what we're doing going on, the county is paving. You'll see First Street getting paved right now. You're going to see Passaic Street getting ready to be paved. There's some major, and I believe after that, X will be getting paved this year, if I'm not mistaken, all the way from the county courthouse all the way to the Maywood border, and that street definitely needs it. So that'll be welcome when that gets here. And overall, you know, the flooding has been the talk. It's you know, and I'm not taking anything away from the people who flooded quite often, which we know happens in the Railroad Avenue area. But the flooding throughout the city, throughout the county, throughout the state was some of the worst we've ever seen. Much worse than Floyd, which was a direct hit hurricane. You know, and we've had a lot of other damage too. We've had trees down. We've had, you know, running water issues. We've had one apartment building over by Route 4 had to be totally evacuated and red tagged. The building's not even usable. So we had major catastrophes throughout the city and other towns as well. Lodi, Saddlebrook, so low-lying towns on rivers got hit pretty hard. So with that, we're from Hackensack. We're going to stick together. We're going to work together. We're going to make this work. I promise the residents that this project is moving forward. But like I said, it's not. These aren't light speed projects. These are going to take time, but we're going to get it done. So bear with us, stay with us, and everybody have a wonderful night. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Mayor, you need a motion?
Motion to close the meeting.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night.